Catch me every week on Studio One, giving you the latest trends in fashion, entertainment, and everything that's hip and happening. I'll also be catching up with the movers and shakers, hustlers who are making big moves locally. Don't forget, Studio One, every Saturday at 6 p.m.
Jovela iCovid-19 unciphise emathuba ekugula kakhulu na ungayithola. Kanjalo chubeka nekunatha kahle ema-ARVs kuze kunciphe linani le-HIV emtimbeni. Lokho kunciphisa emathuba ekwencisela i-HIV kulomunye.
#Jova nawe. Lo mlayeto wemasonto neulethelwa litiko letempilo libambisene naNature namhlabuhlangene.
Good evening, this is Eswatini TV News at 8. I am Notile Sitole, alongside Zamanzi Manze. First up, let's have a look at our headlining stories.
The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says his office seeks to find solutions to challenges affecting children's lives. Minister of Home Affairs Princess Lindiwe says her ministry is doing everything possible to ensure that the mopping exercise is as effective as possible. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has officially launched the Mlaula Makatsavane Walk Challenge.
The news. The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku took to Njanini High School for an inclusive dialogue on the continued commemoration of Children's Month. Masuku says with these dialogues, his office seeks to find solutions to the challenges affecting children's lives, particularly violence.
The dialogue between the Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku and the pupils of Njanini High School was premised under the theme Eliminating All Forms of Violence Against Children in Eswatini, Our Collective Responsibility. Masuku says exposing children to violence has exclusive damaging and negative consequences on the physical, social, economic and mental health aspect of the child.
Yeah, the important thing is we have to look at our policies and the legal framework that guides the operations of the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister, and in particular relating to children. We believe that we need to talk to the children, understand where they are coming from, and so that we can be able to amend our laws, enhance our laws, and amend our policies as well, so that we can grow a future generation that will be responsible. Often you hear people complaining about the rights that we support for children, but we are saying those rights must not be misunderstood. Every right goes with a responsibility, and they must understand what rights they have, what responsibilities are expected from them.
The dialogue was engaging and participatory as the pupils got to share their perceptions and opinions with the Deputy Prime Minister on children's rights and protection. Form 5 learner Tenele Ngumalo expressed how the dialogue enlightened them.
We thank the Deputy Prime Minister for educating us about violence against children. Though this was not new to us, it helped us to know more about places to reach out to if ever we come across such problems. And in our environments, in our schools, in our churches, just everywhere we are.
Masugu says government has placed legislation to redress the wrongs affecting children founded in the existing policy and legal frameworks such as the Child Protection and Welfare Act of 2012, the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Act of 2013, and the Persons with Disability Act of 2013. Sifiso Ngumalo with Vusi Mpamali for Eswatini TV News, Njanini.
Minister of Home Affairs Princess Lindiwe says her ministry is doing everything possible to ensure that the mopping exercise is as effective as possible. The minister says although there are challenges, they will attend to areas where some people were left without registering their certificates. The minister has said this in Parliament when her ministry appeared before its portfolio committee in the House of Assembly.
The Ministry of Home Affairs launched a mopping exercise which aimed to have unregistered Maswati registered. Members of Parliament have asked the Ministry about the progress of the exercise as well as other items that appear in its quarterly performance report.
Deal harshly with this man and give this child a chance in life. Abangena esikolweni kunengozi aliyaganga lo mntwana uzula letiganga lithi intiko he asikwati wena lanza umntana ngilamlanzaphi bafa lanzaka nokwathi ungathiwa ngibani ngayitaladini I just want to change my life.
eMaswati ayalicognize alisondvo ukuthi empilweni yawo lisondvo limgcoka kodwa ke lokhu lokwenteka mva nje lokuthi njengoba nje ngingumfundisi nami bangangikhuta nje bandleni ukuthi nako umfundisi lokwenta kabi sengijubile sengicala lami isondlo ngihamba ngiya ka-Home Affairs ngiyalibhalisa ngenta yonke into lengifuna kuyenda lapha.
Ukhona maka wakasibeko lokhona etiko kakho ndifuna ngibita ngokwenta into lenhle lekahlasi nje nasine problem yabo network sibika kuye noma le mshini ngasebenzi nyalo uthuka kuchamuka umuntu usotolungisa imshini ngaze ngaya kuye ngafike ngambonga lo mangasi kube bonke uhulumende benta njengoba wenda amandla emuntu akadliwa nako ke lesifunako ngedinkundla.
Minister Princess Lindiwe responded to the committee.
Lemiphakathi nje lesesivile ukuthi kunebantu bobonakala ukuthi basela bababhaliseke usho ukuthi vele kufuna sibuyele lapho khona nje kuthiwa kunemiphakathi lesele bonakala ukuthi ayikathindwa ngekuthindwa kanti sesendlulile utafuna siphinde kubuyele kududuza wonke lento kuze ukuthi bantu bonke basetakala.
The minister also informed the committee that the ministry had completed its uniform procurement exercise. She said employees have already started receiving their uniform. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Parliament.
Minister of Defence Thuli Dladla says the Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force advocates for peace. Dladla says through peace, the country will continue to have a vibrant tourism sector which will contribute to the economy. The minister has said this when the ministry appeared before the Ministry of Defence Portfolio Committee in the House of Assembly.
The Ministry of Defence appeared before its House of Assembly Portfolio Committee on Wednesday for the review of its quarterly performance report. Members of the committee asked about issues which included the welfare of the army as well as the ongoing recruitment process.
Kwangazi ukuthi uma befikela edingqondweni tabo ukuthi lapho baya khona sihlalo akusikhona emsebenzini efana nje kuyosekela live engutholako on the ground ukuthi kungcono lokugijima minister izaba ekulama exercise avele nje ababeke eceleni mhlambe ke ungakhanza kusasekubuya kwesibili so ulijimele lomnene exercise so uthola ithuba lapho nje minister lokuva ukuthi nabagcine bangakathathwa bonke kulo 6 ndawuphindze ngibuye yini noma awu vele sebasele kanjalo impi leyo nyaka iyathatha lemakhaya lethi ngolelo
yakhona kwabantu ama-recruitment kulesifo kuyithole enkulu lokuthi abantu bakhona ekuthola emathubana amahle ukuthi bayotambela nabo nendlela bakuphethe ngayo lokuhambe ngayo leti inkundleni nabayothatha kuyathokozisa impela.
Minister Tulidladla responded to some of the questions while others will be brought in writing.
Sicela wona malunga njengalokhu senishito malunga ukuthi chubekani nesisite sithole ibudget le enough si recruit more wemasotsha atokhona ukuthi sibe ne variety bakhone kungena ku-agriculture bakhone kungena etibhedlela bakhone kungena kuto tonke letingoni yokuthi sive sakangwane sitakale sesibhalile etihlotsheni tethu njengatheki kubuta ukuthi angeta sithinile le Air Force yethu itobuya nayo ibonakale.
The minister said they would do everything in their power to ensure that the army recruitment process is as transparent and fair as possible. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Parliament.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has officially launched the Mlaula Makatsavane Walk Challenge, which will take place on the 28th of August this year. The Minister launched the Walk Challenge at Sitegi Park in the Lubombo region.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has officially launched the Mlaula Makatsavane Walk Challenge that will be on the 28th of August this year. The minister says it is in the interest of the government to ensure that all Maswati lead healthy and long lives. Hence, taking part in fitness and chuguma activities becomes necessary fun.
Kumcoka lokuthi umtimba siuhlukumede. Kunemave akubo Latin America. Lesifike sathola ukuthi acithi imali lencane letibhedlela. Ngekwekuthi bahlalela lokwekuthi babe physically fit bahlale njalo bativocavoca siyakubonga ke lokhu sithi ungathi kunganza lapha ke libonjeni ngulenye yetindzawo lapho lemvelo igcineke khona ingaba tilwane ingaba tihlahla ingaba tshani sithi lemsebenzi lenjengalena siyawukhuthata kakhulu kuthi uyembili
Lubombo Regional Administrator Themba Msibi says Mlaula Makatsavane Walk Challenge will bring people together to have fun while keeping fit.
Niyakhe kube nanangumbono nangwe kucanca indzaba lo sihlanganisako sijabule sihleke bese kungemalanga umuntu agcina kuhleka kepha le tug of war iyasijabulisa kakhulu lengifuna ukubonga kakhulu ukuthi nayi ke into lenhle Lubombo.
Eco Lubombo organization last held the walk challenge on the year of 2018. The organization then donated school shoes for about 10 schools located in different areas in the Lubombo region. Becky Kinenza, speaking on behalf of the regional educational officer, extended their gratitude towards Eco Lubombo organization.
So this is going to go a long way
The Ministry of Tourism encouraged people of Eswatini from all walks of life to show support by registering and participating in such activities. Reporting, I am Tembeli Makuchwa with Temba Shabangwe at Stegi.
Minister of Defense, who also doubles as the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Tulidladla, has congratulated Mojane Member of Parliament Robert Makongo for his recent election as Pan-African Parliament Southern Caucus Rapporteur. The minister has also congratulated the Mojane constituency for electing a Member of Parliament that will go all the way to represent the region in the continent. The minister has said this in Parliament when the Ministry of Defense appeared before its House of Assembly Portfolio Committee.
At the beginning of this month, Mojane Member of Parliament Robert Makongo was elected to be the Pan-African Parliament Southern Caucus Rapporteur. In a previous interview, Makongo said they would address gender-based abuse Among other things, in the African Parliament, Minister of Defense, who doubles as the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Thuli Dladla, has congratulated Magongo for the new position. The minister said this is a sign that Mochane residents voted for the right person who has been able to represent them in the local parliament as well as internationally. Magongo utawuba kulesikhundla iminyaka lemithatfu kanzi utawukhuluma tindzaba letitsintsa emave lasesifundzeni lesendasi neAfrika. Magongo will occupy the seat for 3 years and he will represent countries in the Southern Caucasus. For Eswatini TV News, Temngosi Mavimbela with Vumikosi Nzinisa, Parliament.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Smelane, has commended the Republic of China and Taiwan for the agricultural projects done under the International Cooperation Development Fund. Speaking at Mpisi Farm whilst visiting some of the projects, the Principal Secretary says all that is left now is to sensitize the public on how they can benefit from the project.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Simelane, says projects done by the Republic of China on Taiwan under the International Cooperation Development Fund are beneficial to the agricultural sector. He says the breeding of pigs for commercial purposes will help the industry to be sustainable. The Principal Secretary further says the project of preserving indigenous vegetables at Malken's Research Center is also a good initiative.
Lesibonako ukuthi uma kusetshenzwa ngendzaba yokulima sine esikhatsini lesiningi besibuketa ama-natural processes kokuthi nasi isihlahla siyakhula siyathela mhlawumbe siyafa sekufuna kulinywe lesinye le demand yalokudla nalendlela le population lekhula ngayo ibita ukuthi asithole indlela letingcono tekwenda lokho. So le eMalkens la sicale khona sibuke ukuthi wenda kanjani nje nangabe ufuna isihlahla tabanana letingu 500 noma 5000 utathola kanjani. Ngeke umele ukuthi kutawumela umnyaka kumile amashoots lamancane so bese kwendwa ke le bioengineering la bafike bahlale khona bati reproduce letihlahla ngendlela le fast kuyasisita ke lokho to cater for the ever increasing population naseven leMaswati lesibhekene nayo. Leyo ndlela leyo isisita ke nangalokuthi sesiyakhona nekuthi kunema genes la aleti lama species lahlukahlukene. Sesifike esigabeni la siwathatha khona siwastorisha siwabeka sendela even for future generations. Just a few years ago besikhala ngekuthi inyama yepork siyayi-order iqhamuke from lamanye amave. Nyalo kulomnyaka lo sikhuluma nje we are self sufficient in terms of ipork. Ipork yonke lesidlala kangwane ifuyelwa kangwane balimi bala kangwane.
The chief of the Taiwan Technical Mission, Fernando Yes, says Taiwan will always help eMaswati in different sectors.
Currently, mission we have 6 projects incorporated with 5 ministries. Ministry of Agriculture, because agriculture is backbone.
The Principal Secretary says the ministry will sensitize eMaswati on how they can benefit from the International Cooperation Development Fund. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla with Mbongwa Dube, Mpisi.
Philani Maswati Charity Organization's chairperson Lutro Dlamini says lending a helping hand to the needy is everyone's responsibility. Dlamini was speaking when receiving a sponsorship from a company called Jenny Internet Service Provider that will provide free Wi-Fi during the biggest bribe.
More companies and organizations are coming on board to be part of the biggest braai hosted by Philani Maswati Charity Organization to raise funds to help needy elderly. Making his presentation, Jenny Internet Provider representative Mkhululi Mazia says they will continue to support the organization that is making a difference.
It's a relationship that has spanned over a period of 3 years, and with the intention of continuing to support the initiatives Lendiwang Philani Maswati annually.
Philani Maswati chairperson Lutfo Dlamini says the company has been with the organization for quite some time. He says that it is not just Their Majesty's responsibility to help the needy, but the entire nation is expected to take care of the elderly. Dlamini says the biggest braai will be bigger and better this year as the Journey company will provide internet for free. He continues to urge eMaswati to be part of this event as they are working on making through the Guinness Book of Records.
I can assure the thousands of eMaswati later with they'll actually have a good time. Sikukhuthatela sineloko sikhutsatela ukuthi bantu bete nabala ba-connect batsinzane netihlobo ba-relay ukuthi kwendekani not only locally but even abroad bantu babone ukuthi sichubekane ikakhulukazi ngoba we are still continuing ngale attempt yethu ekungena ku-Guinness Book of Records ukuthi sahlangana sosa kanye kanye. And lonyaka sibonga nje kakhulu ukuthi sithole le Wi-Fi labaningi vele babulawa ngilokuswela i-Wi-Fi sebehla bayinyuka bofuna emadata. This time I think kutaba kuhle kakhulu kubusheshe wasitshela incenga ngasikhuphulele naleli ticket besathi bogogo bathi phela ngoba sekune Wi-Fi zale nifaka but ke siyabonga lokusekwendekile and I want to assure the public ukuthi lonyaka it will even be much bigger because Stabe sesingetene into letinsha kune-boxing, there'll be 12 bouts lataba khona lapha enhla kutaba ne-stage sesibili because we're also having a VVIP lataba lenhla. We are having a fashion show, music ke vele sibondiwe and we are trying lokuthi let's have our biggest prize be 100% local.
The biggest prize is expected to be held on the 22nd of July 2022. For Eswatini TV News on Domlangeni, Nonjabulo Makakula Manzini.
The Ministry of Education has had a session with journalists where they were taking submissions from the media practitioners on how Eswatini's education can be transformed to meet the demands and challenges faced by young people.
The Ministry of Education had a section with journalists from all the media houses in Eswatini where they were trying to get their views and opinions on how the country's education can be transformed. According to the Director of Education, Dr. Ndombele Dlamini, the COVID-19 pandemic affected the education system in the country. It also presented the academia with an opportunity to strengthen the shortcomings.
Sihlanganeke ngoba siyathi ukuthi bantu bemedia ngibo labahamba lena nabo banemivo lekhaliphile labangayibeka ekuthinini live balibona lingabhekiswa njani lena le kuzimfundo ibe secophelelweni lelisetulu naleli imfundo letawukhona ukuthi ilethe lokungcono ekukhuleni kwemnotho welizwe.
Xolile Zwane, who is a student at UNESWA, says the greatest challenge they encountered was the lack of data since lessons were conducted online.
In the country, we find that as students, we struggle with data. Data is very expensive. With data being expensive, it doesn't even allow us, we take parts in class online. And for me, COVID was just a wake-up call for us as a country to realize there was digital divide that was seen a long time ago. So why aren't we taking steps? So COVID for me, it was a wake-up call. Now we have a pandemic that is forcing everyone to wake up and see digital divide and now we have to deal with it.
World leaders are expected to meet in New York where they will make submissions on how their country's education can be transformed. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Makakula Nomfundo Mbabane.
The Construction Industry Council says the construction standards that are currently reviewed by the public and stakeholders are meant to promote uniformity and transparency in procurement in this sector. The acting Chief Executive Officer, Maqhawe Mnisi, says this will level the ground and ensure businesses compete equally.
In an effort to ensure fair competition in the construction sector, the Construction Industry Council is encouraging the public to make their contributions in the construction standards. The acting Chief Executive Officer, Maqhawe Mnisi, gives more details on the public review.
We saw a need for us to ensure a specific standard that will address construction procurement. And henceforth, we, together with SPPRA, then decided and facilitated that we develop a construction procurement standard. And when doing that, we also involved construction industry stakeholders to ensure that we have a construction procurement standard that is reflective of, it's relevant to the construction industry. And of course, we all know that whatever you do in Eswatini in terms of procurement, it has to be guided by the SPPRA SPPRA Act. So this standard is not overriding the SPPRA Act, but it is enforcing that act through now introducing a specific standard for the construction industry that will ensure that procuring entities facilitate procurement of goods and services in a uniform and transparent manner. We have the Eswatini Standards Authority that will be responsible to receive comments from the public, and as CIC, we have issued a public advert to give our stakeholders information to say they can submit their comments to the Eswatini Standards Authority, who are leading, facilitating, ensuring that those comments are incorporated into the standard before it becomes a final standard.
The Chief Executive Officer says they are always looking for ways to make the working environment in the construction industry a fair one. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
And now we'll have a look at our financial markets.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Moving on, we'll have a look at our sports news. Sihlang Semnigati has crashed out of this year's COSAFA Cup after being eliminated by Senegal on penalties. The two sides failed to eliminate each other on regulation time, with the game ending in a 1-1 draw.
Sihlang Semnigati faced Senegal in the quarterfinals of the 2022 COSAFA Cup in the Republic of South Africa in Durban. Senegal was quick to announce themselves within 8 minutes of the game, with a goal scored by Lamine Camara. There were countless opportunities for Sihlangu to level the matter, but the first half ended Senegal leading by 1-0. In the second half, Sihlangu was quick to level things through Pilani Mkonto within the first 20 minutes of the game, and the game ended on that note, both sides equaling 1-1. In the penalty shootout, Senegal netted 10 out of them, with Sihlangu only managing to net 9. Mswandile Mapeleza failed to hit the last one, which gave Senegal a qualification to the semi-finals.
Kudlala ama-games anjengalawa alukhuni manje, kepha ke lokhu mnanzi ngawo kuyenteka ungabuyi nema-point, kepha kube ningi lwati lolutfolako. So ngicabanga kulenye yema-team la switcha i-attack from left to right, lengicabanga ukuthi kuyasithuthukisa indlela yethu yokushifta nasidefender. So overall performance ngijabule kakhulu mnephathisana ngibona le team.
Sihlangu will now proceed to the COSAFA Plate semi-finals on Thursday, which is a round of quarter-finals losers. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabisum Sonera in the Republic of South Africa, Durban.
Mandla Dlamini, who is the Eswatini Cricket Association Operations Officer, says the upcoming international game between Eswatini and Mozambique will be part of the preparations of the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Dlamini was speaking to Eswatini TV Sports Desk in Mbabane.
The senior men's national cricket team last played an official game last year during the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Sub-Regional Africa qualifiers in Rwanda, but now the national team is in camp preparing to host Mozambique later this month. Eswatini Cricket Association Operations Officer Mandla Dlamini says this game against Mozambique will help local players to prepare for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers.
Isisite kuti lolongela ema-ICC World Cup qualifiers, but itaphindze isisite nekuthi sibe Eswatini si-improve ema-rankings ethu e-ICC WT20I, because as ngikhuluma nje ema-rankings e-ICC siphansi kakhulu, because lama-international matches lesiwadlalile mancane kakhulu ngoba thina besirelaya kulama World Cup qualifiers. And other countries bokhanda usona vele ayaqhubeka every year ahosta lama-bilateral T20I. So kungocala kucala silibe Eswatini ke sihosta i-bilateral T20I. Sethemba ukuthi lokuthi noma nje kucala lena neseminyaka etawusa phinde siqhubeke futhi kutasita kakhulu silibe Eswatini.
Eswatini will play 6 series games against Mozambique. Mozambique will arrive in the kingdom on the 28th of July and play first game the next day. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update. From myself and the team, thank you for your company. Good night.